start with overall thoughts from, I guess we'll just start with overall thoughts from tonight's duel coming out here and competing tonight.
Gotta wrestle harder, longer, and smarter. We had opportunities in matches, and they stayed in the fight really well. And they got a good team. I mean, you got a good team up and down the lineup. They end with two really high-level guys. I look at a guy like Carson though. The last exchange in that second period, like I'm thinking and I'm watching, I'm like, man, this guy, he's putting him on the edge a little bit, right? And then you go down and then you go to your belly. Like, how can you put any pressure? How can you give yourself a chance that way? And those are learning lessons, right? Those are situations that we have to be able to work through, and we got to do them in the practice room. And so for me, it just gives me more, I guess, firepower to be like, hey, remember we talked about this? And this came up in that situation, so we got to put ourselves under the gun a little bit more. And again, in the practice room, I thought our fight was good, but I mean that's a hallmark of our program, though. I look at a guy like Max Brady; he can build a lot of confidence out of that third period. Where it looks like, and I can't speak for Espadilla, but I imagine he's probably like, man, I got this guy in the ropes. I'm gonna tech fall him, and he stayed in there and fought and got a couple takedowns, and then you kind of see the tide turn a little bit. You got to be able to turn the tide a little bit sooner, and we have to be able to do that from the first period, and we didn't do that enough in situations, and then we got beat. The scoreboard's pretty lopsided.
Coach, today it started with a moment of silence to honor Parker Sutherland. I wonder what that meant to you and how your guys have handled that this week.
Oh man, I'll say, I think everyone's probably hugging their loved ones a little bit tighter. I mean, I know when I gave my kids a hug and kiss last night, it's like, you hold on to them a little bit extra, and you're just grateful for having them and be able to hold them one more time. But also, man, we get to wrestle. Like, in the end, like we're losing a wrestling match. We're not losing anything on that kind of scale. So if we can't kind of just be grateful for the opportunity, even if it's a loss, and we can't take that and use it as something that can inspire us, and I know something's wrong, but I know their family is hurting, and we're hurting with them. We send love and prayers to them, and I know our guys, feel it too, because it's someone that's around their age, and I think you all kind of think about that. You're not invincible, right? And I don't know. I appreciate Iowa State doing it. I think it's something that obviously everyone can get behind. Look at this guy trying to come in. I mean, trying to take everything. Always trying to take the spotlight. Trying to take the spotlight. Everything. This guy. No, but I appreciate Iowa State, and I know the outpouring of support that they've had. And, man, we'll just keep loving on them.
Talked a little bit about Max Brady's third period, but even there in the first and second, he had a couple moments where he's close, then the third obviously he started to rally. What can you say about him, like his performance tonight, and like his growth since getting into the lineup and just the season overall since your freshman?
It's one of those things where he walks in the back and it's like, hey, listen, look at what you're capable of. Because sometimes this thing can get in the way a little bit because I'm a freshman. This guy's one of the best guys in the country. This guy's been an All-American. He looks like he's really damn strong. You can get caught up in all that stuff, and I think the more that he can manage his nerves and take them and use them as something that's it's a superpower for it. It's something you could use. It's not something that has to take away from you right now. I think he's trying to learn how to manage those. And he stayed in that fight because he wrestles hard, and I thought Iowa State up in that lineup, they wrestled hard, and I thought we wrestled hard back. You have to convert opportunities, and man, if you feel them blink, you have to be willing to go again. And so I was really happy with how he finished because, I imagine they're thinking that third period, like I said, this guy's gonna fall over, and that's something that we asked our team to do last night. You wrestled for 420 seconds, and you wait a few matches tonight that were a hell of a lot more than that. And if it takes a little bit more, it takes a little bit more. But to me, that's something I'm going to point to, and we're going to build upon, for him, moving into this next month of the season.
That sudden victory at 174. What did you see from Gaitan and your guy in that contest? And
I mean, he can scramble. He scrambles well. I think we had him dead to rights multiple times, and we know he scrambles. The first finish he was able to get ankles clear, get to 2 legs, put him down where there's not a whole lot of scramble. You know, and I told him, I said, when you go back and look at it, you're going to see you over-wrestle the position a little bit. And it's hard when you're like 95% to a score, right? You're almost there and you're like, man, there it is. And then that's what he wants. And then he rolled him through and, you know, he wrestled till the end. I thought that was a great match. You know, from watching from a spectator point of view, I mean, I think I would imagine everyone's thoroughly entertained because they didn't leave anything left in the tank. And really 65 too. You know, those back-to-back matches were, to me, like, man, that's what Iowa State and UNI, that's what that should be, right? Every single time should be a tooth and nail scrap like that where guys are almost like having to crawl off the mat. Which, you know, those guys, I really like where Sim is at and how he's wrestling. He's been wrestling very well and he's been very consistent. And this is the most consistent he's been for a long period of time. And, you know, sometimes the guy gets you. And I got him tonight and, you know what, they'll see each other again.
You guys have, for your guys' lineup, had some curveballs this year, and then at this point we're pretty deep into the year, so what are you still kind of hoping to learn about your team, and what have you kind of learned to this point as we get a couple weeks from the postseason here already?
Yeah, I mean, injuries are part of the sport, and you have to handle and manage those, and you have to have the next guy, you know what, hey, I got an opportunity, I'm gonna run with it. You know, and you know, unfortunately we've had a few of those. I think there's a few things where I'm just trying to see how consistent these guys compete. I'm trying to see how they react when they don't go out there. What kind of teammate are they? You know, I'm trying to see if, you know, when we go home tomorrow, you know, how are guys going to handle those things? You know, we have one duel left, and we still got some weights to kind of figure out. And you know, you'd like it to be a little bit clearer as far as result wise, and some of them aren't as clear as I would like them to be. Guys have certainly had opportunities to really put it in their favor, but I don't know. We got to get a few things figured out, and we'll send 10 guys to the Big 12 tournament that are ready to score points and go to the national tournament, score points there. So I don't know. My head's spinning a little bit right now. I'm trying to figure that out. So I can't tell you a whole lot right now because